Good day, friends. Welcome to the lecture series of Fundamental of Investment. In the topic of Fundamental of Investment, we were discussing about portfolio selection. And while talking of portfolio selection, in my previous lectures, I talked about two different theories, that is Harry Markowitz's theory and the capital market theory. In continuation of that, today I'll be talking of capital assets pricing model. But before talking of capital assets pricing model, let me talk of the component of risk and how do you measure the systematic risk. So beta as a measurement of risk, this will be the subject of discussion in this topic. So as you are aware, in many times earlier also, I talked about two types of risk. So when we talk of the total risk in a security or in a portfolio, there are two broad categories of risk involved in any portfolio. And when I talk of risk, basically just to understand purposes, risk is basically the variability of return in a security or in a portfolio. That whatever you expect, it is not necessary that your return will always be as per your expectations, right? And the return of the portfolio or return of a security keeps on changing, keeps on fluctuating, and that is the risk involved in any purchase of a security or any construction of a portfolio. So the two risks involved in any portfolio or in any security is called systematic risk and unsystematic risk. As far as the systematic risk is concerned, it affects all the companies which are operating in the market. So I may call it a market risk. So systematic risk is the variability of return on a stock or portfolio associated with the change in the return of the market as a whole. That is, when the market fluctuates, market increases or decreases, so is when I say market increases means the return on the particular market portfolio increases. When I say market decreases, the index decreases, the Sensex decreases, it means the return on the different security which makes the market will decrease, right? So as the market increases, the return increases. As the market decreases, the return also decreases. So as the market varies, as the market changes, so will be the return of the different securities which are operating in the market. And it affects all the companies that are operating in the market. The relationship of the market return and the security return is same. That is, it goes in the same direction. Market increases, the security return also increases. Market return decreases, the security return also decreases. The degree of variation may vary from company to company, right, to some extent. But the relationship is positive in the same direction. As far as the unsystematic risk is concerned, it is a company-specific risk. I'll be explaining all these risks in detail. So unsystematic risk is the variability of return on a stock or portfolio not explained by general market movements. Means it is not being affected by the ups and downs of the market. It is avoidable through diversification. If your portfolio, just to broad understanding purposes, if your portfolio consists of all the securities that are there in the Sensex, that is which is the index of the Bombay Stock Exchange or Mumbai Stock Exchange, right? And the Nifty, which is the Sensex of, which is the index of, not Sensex, it is the index of the National Stock Exchange. If your portfolio consists of all those securities which constitutes Nifty, or if your portfolio consists of all those securities which constitutes the Sensex, that is the index number of the Bombay Stock Exchange, right? So if you well diversified, as far as the unsystematic risk is concerned, it can be avoided. It can be minimized or it can be neutralized, I can say. So systematic, which is non-diversified risk, is the risk which is caused by factors beyond the control of a specific company, like such as general factors in market, GDP, inflation, interest rates, etc. Means when the inflation increases and the inflation takes place, inflation accelerates, it affects all the companies. When the income level in the economy increases, GDP increases, it makes a positive impact on more or less on all the companies of the world, right, operating in the stock exchanges. So these are the risks which are called systematic risk, which affects all the companies, right? So these factors affects all the companies and cause variability in their return. Systematic risk cannot be reduced by holding an efficiently diversified portfolio. We call it is a non-diversified, means it is a risk which is associated, which is taking place by diversification of the portfolio. You cannot avoid it. So therefore, systematic risk is that part of the total risk which cannot be eliminated by diversification, right? Because normally we say that if you diversify your portfolio, if you have various securities in your portfolio, then you can diversify, you get the benefit of diversification, the risk is being minimized. But as far as the systematic risk is concerned, it cannot be eliminated by diversification. When I say eliminated, means completely eliminating, right? To some extent it can be reduced, but it cannot be eliminated. So this part of risk arises because of all the securities on an average move in the direction of the market return, as I've already discussed. Market risk is the primary source of systematic risk of a security. Hence, systematic risk and market risk are used interchangeably. Means that we say whether you call it market risk or you say systematic risk is more or less in the common parlance same thing, because as the market increases, as I said in the beginning, as the market increases, systematic means the return of the security will also increase, or return of the portfolio which you have constituted will also increase. If the market decreases, the return of the security will also decrease, right? So changes in the market causes change in the security's return, and hence no security escapes the systematic risk. So systematic risk of a security is indicated by beta. Friends, this is very important. I will discuss in this lecture itself how do you calculate beta. But before discussing beta, I will be talking of unsystematic risk also. So systematic risk of a security is indicated by beta, which captures the sensitivity of securities return with respect to the market return. Means it is through beta you measure the systematic risk. Now, after talking of systematic risk, now let me talk of the unsystematic risk. Friends, I just said the systematic risk by diversification of your portfolio, by having various securities in a portfolio, you cannot eliminate the systematic risk. But as far as the unsystematic risk is concerned, if you have a well diversified portfolio, if you have a portfolio which is market portfolio, you can eliminate the risk, and this risk can be eliminated by having various securities in the portfolio which makes the market. So unsystematic risk is that part of the total risk which is diversifiable. Means a well diversified portfolio can eliminate the unsystematic risk. It is caused by factors which are within the control of a specific company. Friends, this is important, that these are the factors which are within the control of the company, such as management, operational efficiency, labor conditions, leverages, etc. I would say there are broadly two reasons of unsystematic risk, or two factors because of which unsystematic risk takes place. One is called business risk and other is called financial risk. As far as the business risk is concerned, business risk means it is the risk which arises because of the fixed cost involved in your business. Higher is the fixed cost, higher will be the risk involved. Means we call it in financial management language, we call it operating leverage. So because of this operating leverage, this risk arises in the business, right? And the other risk, which I call it financial risk, arises because of how you have financed your business, how you have financed your balance sheet. Means if the debt component is very high, means fixed interest securities are high in your financing of the firm, then the fixed liability because of the interest payment, interest outgo will be high. Say for you understand like this, that in a situation where there is a market where the sales is not going up, it is because of the market, because there is a recession going on. In a recessionary situation, the sales are not picking up or sales is down, but in the business since there is a large component of the debt component involved, you will have to pay interest on the debt. You have to pay interest on the bank loan, you have to pay interest to your debenture holders, you have to pay interest on the loan which you have borrowed from the financial institutions. So in a situation where the sales is low and there is a large part of your revenue goes in form of paying interest, the company's income will not grow, rather it will fall. So there is a lot of risk involved in such a situation, right? So this is called financial risk. Business risk, I was just saying, suppose there is a fully automatic business, everything is being done by machines. Like say for example, if I take the example of a power sector. In a power sector, that large cost involved is a fixed cost, right? So plant and machinery cost very heavily out of the total cost of the business. So if your plant is operating at lower capacity utilization, in that case your sales will be low. So it will be very difficult for the company to make good profits in such a situation. As you keep on increasing your sales, your profit will start increasing at a higher rate because fixed cost is already being taken care of. But if your sales is low, then it will have heavy repercussions because the cost per unit will be high, and in such a scenario you will not able to make profit. The point I am trying to make is that unsystematic risk arises because of this business risk and the financial risk. In the financial management language, we call it because of financial operating leverage and the financial leverage. So if you have a well diversified portfolio, right, unsystematic risk can be completely eliminated because you buy the companies, the sectors which constitutes the different sectors of the different industry and different companies within the sector, right? So in this way, if one company's operating leverage and financial leverage is high, you buy a portfolio, you buy a share which is having low financial leverage and operating leverage. Therefore, you can eliminate this risk. So diversification is using a number of securities to reduce risk. Securities which are less than perfectly positively correlated can be combined with together to diversify away unsystematic risk, right? So when I say perfectly positive correlated, means the correlationship of all the securities is same. They are moving in the same direction. If the market return is increasing, the return of all these securities is increasing in the same proportion, then I will say it is perfectly positively correlated. But if you buy the securities which are less than perfectly positively correlated, then this unsystematic risk can be diversified. That is, if the return of one company is increasing, the return of other company is not decreasing, it will be neutralized, right? If the return of one company is falling and the return of other company is increasing, the risk will be neutralized. So in this way, the unsystematic risk can be eliminated. So it can be observed that unsystematic risk reduces to zero in an efficiently and effectively diversified portfolio, and hence only relevant risk is such a portfolio is systematic risk. Time and again we are saying, and I am talking of this, emphasizing this point, that unsystematic risk can be eliminated by a diversified portfolio. What is not eliminated, which risk is not eliminated? It is a systematic risk. So in your portfolio, if I talk of the total risk, as far as the unsystematic risk is concerned, you can eliminate it, but the systematic risk will always be there in your portfolio. So if you have a market portfolio, again we normally name it market portfolio as M. So if you have a market portfolio, so this diversification will not contain any unsystematic risk. Therefore, as per the capital market theory, the only relevant risk which is priced in capital market is systematic risk and not the total risk. So it is the systematic risk which matters in the capital market theory. So what you can see here is that in this graphical presentation, this total risk constitutes of systematic and unsystematic risk. As far as the systematic risk is concerned, on the x-axis we are showing number of securities in the portfolio, and on the y-axis we are showing the return, right? Portfolio return. So as far as the systematic risk is concerned, it is horizontal to the x-axis. It means if you increase the number of securities, your systematic risk is not going to change. It will remain same, right? So the line of the systematic risk is horizontal to the x-axis. And then I've drawn total risk, right? So if you draw the total risk, as you notice here in this line, in this graph, in this diagrammatical presentation, that the line of the total risk is falling, right? It is downward sloping and it is almost touching to the systematic risk line, right? So the gap between the systematic risk and the total risk is called unsystematic risk, right? So as you are noticing here, when the number of securities are low, very less number of securities, the total risk is very high. As you keep on increasing the securities, and I am presuming that you are making an efficient market portfolio, then this total risk will keep on falling and it will be equivalent to only systematic risk. So friends, if you have a perfectly good portfolio, effective portfolio, and which is called a market portfolio, then the total risk consists of only systematic risk. As you keep on increasing the number of securities, as you increase your number of securities, the total risk will be diversified, your unsystematic risk will be diversified, and you will be left with only systematic risk, right? So an index. So now, how do you measure the systematic risk, friends? What we have to discuss is the measurement of the systematic risk. So one very important indicator of measurement, or I'll say the method of measuring the systematic risk, is called beta. So beta as an indicator of systematic risk. Now we will discuss about this. How do we calculate beta? What beta is? We'll be talking of this in this remaining part of this lecture. I'll be talking of this beta. So an index of systematic risk. So beta measures the systematic risk in a portfolio or in a security. I can say beta of a security. It measures the sensitivity of stock's return to change in the return of the market portfolio. Before I talk in detail, you just try to understand this, that what beta is all about. What we are trying to measure is that when market return changes, whether the return of the security changes in the same proportion or it changes in the less than the proportion of the market return, or the change in the return of the security is greater than the change in the return of the market, right, return. So this we try to measure through beta. Once again, let me tell you that beta measures the sensitivity of the return of the security vis-a-vis sensitivity of the return of the, or vis-a-vis the return of the market, or you can say market portfolio. You might have observed that sometime in some of the securities, when the market changes by 10%, that is market falls by 10%, there are certain securities which do not fall by 10%, rather they fall by less than 10%. And there are certain securities in the market, when the market falls by 10%, they will fall by more than 10%. This sensitivity of the change in the return of the security with respect to the change in the return of the market is measured through beta. If it changes more than the market return, or it changes more than the market, I'll say beta is greater than 1. If it changes less than the market return, if the change in the return of the security is less than the change in the return of the market, or I can say market portfolio, I'll say beta is less, and if it changes more, I'll say beta is more than 1, right? So this sensitivity of return vis-a-vis market return, or I can say market portfolio, is measured through beta. So the beta for a portfolio is simply, if I am talking of security, I'll say beta. If I am measuring the beta of a portfolio, it is simply a weighted average of the individual stock betas in the portfolio. What I'll do, that I'll calculate the beta of each of the security. That is, if I have 20 20 securities in my portfolio, I'll calculate the beta of each of these 20 securities. And then if my portfolio is worth 1 crore rupees, how much amount I have invested in each of the security, right? So the proportion of the amount of the investment of a particular security out of the total portfolio will become the weights, right? Suppose in a X company I have invested 10 lakh rupees out of the total investment of the 1 crore rupees. So 10% will be the weight of that very security. If in a security I have invested only 2%, then 2 means 2% will be the weight of that security. So beta of a portfolio is simply the weighted average of the individual stock bears in the portfolio. In the base of this, we will calculate the weighted average, and then there will become the risk of the portfolio. So it is a number which shows whether a security is less sensitive or more sensitive to the market return. That is, through beta you measure that whether the security is more sensitive or less sensitive, right? So the more sensitive or responsive a security's return is to market return, the higher will be the value of the beta. Means simply I will say if beta is more than 1, the return of the security is the change in the return of the security is more than the change in the return of the market portfolio. So indicates how risky a stock is if the stock is held in a well diversified portfolio, right? So means the higher the beta, higher is the risk involved in the investment of that security. So if beta is less than 1, the security is less responsive to change in the market return, stock is less risky than average. If beta is greater than 1, the security is more responsive, means it's more risky. It's more responsive to change in the market return. Market fluctuates by 10%, market falls by 10%, the security's return or the portfolio return will changes by more than 10%, right? So responsive to change in the market return, stock is riskier than average. If beta is 0, it means it is not responsive to change in the market return, right? Normally this situation doesn't arise, means it is a extreme theoretical situation. If the beta is 1, means if you have perfect market portfolio constituting a market portfolio, so then beta will be equivalent to 1, because here we are relating market portfolio with itself with the average risk, right? So normally in practical life beta will be either more than 1 or it will be less than 1. Practically I can say normally what I have observed over a period of time, the beta is between 0.5 to 1.5 or 0.4 to 1.6, like that. So beta of a security measures the resultant change in the security's return for a unit change in the return of the market portfolio. If the 1 unit of securities changes, market portfolio changes, what is the change in the return of the portfolio of a security or of a security? So when beta is 1.1, that implies that 10% increase or decrease in the market return is expected to increase or decrease the securities return by 15%. So most stocks have betas in the range of 0.5 to 1.5. This is not rule as such, but normally we say most of the time in most of the stocks you find that beta is between 0.5 to 1.5, right? So now comes what is the formula, how do you measure the beta? So I'll say simply the beta is equal to covariance between the security return and the market return divided by variance of market return, right? So covariance of security return and the market return divided by variance of market return. So you can say that which is covariance of security return and market return is equal to standard deviation of M, or you can say risk of security mark M, and the risk of market security means market risk multiplied by the risk of the security into correlationship of security and market, means coefficient of correlation of the security return and the market return divided by variance of the market, which is equivalent to, means you can use any of these formula. This formula can also be written as the risk of the security divided by risk of the market into correlationship of security and the market. So friends, by using this formula, that is what you will have to do is, there are 2-3 things. I am taking the last one, that is the risk of the security. First you will have to find out the risk of the security. For finding out the beta, you will have to find out the risk of the security divide by risk of the market, right? Means when I say market, means market portfolio, into correlationship of, or you can say coefficient of correlationship of security return and the market return, right? So in this way you can find out the beta. So friends, what we can do is that beta is a very important measurement of systematic risk. So what we have discussed in this very lecture is, there are 3 important things which we discussed. Firstly, I talked about systematic risk, which I said that systematic risk arises because of the change in the market, which is also called the market risk. That it is if the inflation takes place in the economy, if the rate of interest changes, if the monetary policy of the government of India changes, if there is a major change in the fiscal policy of the government of India, or if I am talking of Indian context, right, if the income level of the people changes, so it affects all the companies. This is called, and this we say, this risk cannot be eliminated by having a diversified portfolio. The systematic risk will always be there. Howsoever good a diversified portfolio will be, there will be some element of systematic risk in your portfolio or in a security. Then I talked about unsystematic risk. Unsystematic risk is basically company specific. Suppose in a company there are labor troubles, right? There are management issues. This will lead to unsystematic risk. The company will not be able to perform well in a situation when there is a unsystematic risk, when there is a labor problem, when there is a management issues, right? And this risk basically arises because of business risk and the financial risk involved, which we say operating leverage and the financial leverage. If there is a too much of fixed cost component in your total business, in your business cost, in your total cost, right? So there is a high degree of risk involved in such a scenario. If you are not able to make, if there is a recessionary period, if you are not able to make good sales, certainly the profit level will come down. And similarly, financial leverage, if you have too much of fixed cost financing in the business, when I say fixed cost means debt capital in the business, then there is a high fixed interest outgo which you will have to make in your business. That is also a risky situation. So this unsystematic risk arises because of company specific issues related to financing of the business, issues related to the fixed cost involved, operating leverage, financial leverage, management issues. These are the issues. But if you have a well diversified portfolio, you can eliminate this unsystematic risk. So what we are left with is, if you talk of the total risk in a portfolio or in a security, I am saying that if you are designing a portfolio, you can diversify, you can eliminate by diversification, you can eliminate unsystematic risk. So what we will left with will be only systematic risk. And we measure systematic risk, friends, by a very important method which we call it beta. So beta measures the sensitivity of return of the security with respect to the sensitivity of the return of the market. That is, whether the securities return, if I am talking of X share, whether the return of X changes in the same proportion in which the return of the market changes, or it changes less than that or more than that. If it is less than that, I will say beta is less than 1. If the return of the X security increases or decreases, changes more than the market return, I will say beta is greater than 1. Means it changes more than the market return, I will say beta is greater than 1. So higher is the value of the beta, higher will be the risk involved in a security or in a portfolio. With these words, thank you very much. So in the next lecture, I will be talking of capital assets pricing model.